we work to make our equation more specific for surface area of a cone, let's start with area of a base. On our cone, the base is a circle. That means we find its area by doing pi times radius squared. And then on the lateral face, it goes around it to form a circumference instead of a perimeter. One way to find circumference is by doing 2 times pi times radius. That means our surface area equation so far would be pi times radius squared plus 1/2 times 2 pi r times slant height. Well, here we have 1/2 times 2. We can go ahead and simplify that. 1/2 times, make that 2 over 1, gives us 2 over 2. 2 over 2 simply simplifies to 1. So that means at this point we would have a coefficient of 1 pi times radius times slant height in our equation. But generally it's understood that a coefficient of 1 doesn't need to be written out, so we can go ahead and drop it. That brings our final equation for surface area of a cone to pi times radius squared plus pi times radius times my slant height. Let's use our equation to find the surface area of this cone. Here we're told the radius of the cone and the height of the cone, but first we have to find its slant height before we can find its surface area. That means we need to use the Pythagorean theorem and construct a right triangle using the cone's height and its radius. Our radius is going to be our first leg, so that's going to be a squared. Our height is going to be our second leg, so that's going to be 8 squared. And our slant height is our hypotenuse for c squared. Now as we work through and solve that, 5 squared is 25, 8 squared is 64. Together they'll be worth c squared. 25 and 64 is 89, so then to find c squared, we're going to need to take the square root of both sides. 89 isn't a perfect square, so we're going to estimate it to the nearest tenth. That comes out to be about 9.4 inches. So now we can use that in our equation to find surface area. Surface area is pi times radius squared, so it's going to be 3.14 times 5 squared, and to that we're going to add pi times radius 5 times our slant height of 9.4. Let's work that in chunks. 5 squared is 25. 25 times pi comes out to be 78.5. If we multiply 3.14 times pi times 9.4, that comes out to be 147 and 5800ths. Adding those two quantities together gives us 226 and 800ths. Since our cone is labeled in inches and surface area is a two-dimensional measurement, we're going to label that as 226 and 800ths square inches.